Let's take a look at all of the things that you might need or want to understand about Dynamics 365 sales. Over the course of the next hour, I'm going to help you with everything you might need to know about the why and the how that will help you get started with this, either for your organization or perhaps if you're somewhere else in the CRM or consulting world and you want to get into this. I'm going to take you through some core concepts around CRM. This is really important because it's changing a lot at the moment with the capabilities and how we can think of it, and also why Dynamics 365, instead of doing CRM in a spreadsheet or a SharePoint list or other model-driven apps. We'll have a look at the core components of what a CRM is and does, and then I will spend most of the time here going through how we can actually use Dynamics 365 Sales, how you get started with it, what are the core things that it can do that are really important for you to understand before you start and as you start working with it, and then where we're going with this now and into the future with some of the AI and Copilot features that are there that are actually really changing the way that we think and work about this. Now, don't run away if you think you know what CRM is already. Maybe you do. I really want to take you through why it's changing and why Dynamics is a different choice than using a model-driven app or Excel or SharePoint. But if you do want to jump ahead, use the chapters to get to where you want to go here. This is the way we've always thought about CRM traditionally. As I've been working in this space, this is kind of the thing that you will have heard a million times: accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, activities. This is typically what we do with CRM, and we absolutely still do all of those things. But the way that we start to talk about it now and the way we can imagine it now is quite different. It's a lot more about how am I, as a seller, communicating with my customers, which realistically I do in Outlook. I live in my email more than my CRM. How am I communicating and collaborating with my team, with the other people who might be product specialists or managers in the organization, which for most organizations is going to be done in Teams? How do I prepare for my meetings, create my proposals? I'm living in Word and PowerPoint. How am I going against my target? Do I really have to do data entry? I don't think there's ever been a seller who wakes up in the morning and goes, yes, today I'm going to spend my day doing data entry of who I've visited and what I've done. That sort of stuff just, is grunt work that nobody wants to do. So we're going to see some of the tools that are coming in that can change the way we do that. So if we think about what is a CRM and what are the options for building a CRM, if you search for this, you'll actually find a lot of stuff out there on how to CRM in Excel, and it's just not the same thing. I'm also going to have a look here at the difference between model-driven Power Apps, which are actually a place that you can do CRM. We'll get a bit of SharePoint in there as well, and how all of that compares and how you can make the decision that's right for your business in there. The analogy here is around whether you want to build a house or buy a house when we're looking at model-driven Power Apps, and we will come to that concept if you're not familiar with it, versus Dynamics 365. But I'm going to start with what happens if you're looking at Excel or SharePoint. Do you like my AI-generated image here? It's quite cute, isn't it? If we're looking at working with Power Apps and Dynamics 365 as building a house or buying a house, really if you're working with the tools in the Microsoft 365 Office product suite, you are building a tent. You're pitching a tent. So that might be fine depending on what you're doing, but this is nothing like as substantial as where we're going with this. Let me sort of explain this a little bit more for you. This is what happens if you CRM in Excel, and a lot of people do this. You'll end up with one spreadsheet which has all of the accounts on it, one spreadsheet which has the contacts, and you might then have some kind of lookup locked back into that other spreadsheet. Then you might have your deals or your pipeline, again, kind of linking back to that account. So you end up with a series of linked spreadsheets. There are substantial organizations doing their CRM this way. There is no security on this. You can't stop people from, changing things, just copying and pasting it and exporting it if they leave the organization. The risk of multiple versions, there's so much risk associated with this. You need to really understand the value of this data to your business and to the people whose private information is in here. A spreadsheet is not ever a suitable place to do a CRM. This is important data for your business. This is your customers' information, and it's their private information. Think about how you would feel about, all of your details being on a spreadsheet in a business. And I know this is a reality, but let's hope that we can move on past that. You're also going to hit a limit here at some point where you just can't capture everything. Like, as we move through looking at more complex scenarios, and even if you're just dealing with accounts and contacts and your pipeline, at some point here you want to start to track the activities that you're doing, and the whole thing will just kind of blow out and end up being something that you just can't get that full picture of what's going on. But the data risk is very real here. Same with SharePoint. You can create a CRM type thing in SharePoint. I think this is less common than Excel. You end up with a series of SharePoint lists that allow you to sort of, connect and filter. I can click on the list of accounts, and now I'm just seeing the list of contacts. You can function in a basic address book like this, but again, like Excel, there's no data security on this. Hiding it as where other people in the organization can't find the SharePoint list is not a suitable way to do security. Your data is not secure and protected in here with the right sort of things. Plus, it's just not, I'm not a SharePoint expert. I'm sure you can do much nicer things with the user interface than this, but you're still ending up with something that's a very compromised situation. So let's talk about two real options here. And obviously the title of this video is Dynamics 365 Sales in an Hour. I'm going to spend most of the time on that, but I just wanted to talk to you about the difference between a model-driven Power App and Dynamics 365 Sales, because they are actually built on the same platform under the hood, which is Microsoft Dataverse. Now, Dataverse is a relational database, but so much more than that. It can drive your business process logic. It's got sophisticated search. You can do reporting. You can do all sorts of things in there. So this is built for purpose. If you build a model-driven Power App, or you build an app on Dataverse, and even if you're putting Canvas apps over it, but you're starting with Dataverse, you are in the build a house type of thing. So you're starting with a foundational platform that allows you to build out something that's secure and scalable. Unlike what we saw with the previous examples, you can put all of the right security around that, but you are still having to build that thing yourself from the ground up. So there are some benefits here, and if you're in a relatively small business, this is actually a perfectly good option, but we'll have a look at the differences here, because there's a lot of things that you're getting with that Dynamics 365 Sales license that come with the license, in particular around automated business process flows and logic and AI, that you don't get here. You either have to build them yourself. The AI piece is a big differentiator at the moment too, because there's a lot going on in the investment in that space. If you buy that house, you are paying for that and getting that, whereas you're not getting it here. So if you're building out a model-driven Power App, and I've got plenty of videos on the channel here about model-driven Power Apps, you are starting with the idea of relational database, properly structured accounts, contacts, all of those kinds of things. You can actually work with a guided business process flow, so you can have something where you work through your lead to opportunity process with guided steps and stages. We will have a look at that. You can bring in a timeline here. This is very different from what you can do in Excel and SharePoint, because now you can connect that up and track your emails, track notes, appointments, tasks, all of those things, which honestly is at the heart of where you're going to get value out of your CRM, is tracking your activities as well as tracking your pipeline. SharePoint is great as a document storage location. That was SharePoint lists we were looking at before. The idea here is that the platform works together. So you've got your database going on for your CRM component, but then you've got your related documents. So you can absolutely do this here. And you start to get some benefit from things like duplicate detection rules that work in Dataverse on the platform. There's a Copilot for Dataverse that will allow you to natural language query your data, and it's all low code configuration. You're also starting to get some things with Dataverse, and this is what I mean when I say it's more than a database, is that you can start to, these are some of the things I was talking about. Yes, tick, I'd like to set up SharePoint document management. We've got search, duplicate detection, being able to track activities and things in there. So you might end up with something that looks a little bit like this. Now, this is a very, very basic one. I could do a video on how to do this. If there's enough interest, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to give this video a like and consider subscribing if you find this valuable. What we've got here is a model-driven Power App where I'm using the out-of-the-box account table. I've done a little bit of tidy up on the screen to put the things in the right place. And then we have also got an opportunity in here where I'm actually tracking my process through. Now, just a warning here is that the opportunity table is what Microsoft flags as something that's a restricted table. So when you're working with Dynamics 365 Sales, there's a lot of very sophisticated functionality and business logic that goes with the lead to opportunity process and those tables. You can't use all of that without paying for that license. However, there is no reason that you can't just go in and create your own custom table called opportunity, put the pieces on it you want, and put in something like this as a business process flow. You're not actually using the Microsoft kind of proprietary automation and things in there, but you're also not benefiting from it. So that's where there's a big difference, even though this might look similar on the screen to what you start to get in some parts of Dynamic Sales. You can't use that underlying object. You need to do something that looks similar, but you're building it from the ground up and you're maintaining it. So this idea of a business process flow can guide you through the pipeline stages. It can also help you with doing your reporting on this as well. And you'll see there I've got some details in there about the topic and who the customer is and what it's worth, and the start of a timeline in there, and Copilot on the side. But the main topic of what we wanted to cover here is around Dynamics 365 Sales. This is the buying a house. So we've got the same foundational elements. Dynamics 365 Sales is actually a model-driven Power App. It's built on Dataverse. It's all of the same kind of components that you can use to build a model-driven app. But it's a pre-built, a very, very sophisticated, we call it a first-party app from Microsoft, a very sophisticated application. In this instance, you're buying the house, but you can go in, and we'll talk about configuration later. You can go in and change the curtains and replace the carpet and renovate the kitchen and do all of those things, but you are starting with a pre-built house. Now, the decision point here between whether you're going with a model-driven app or with this pre-built house of Dynamics 365 is around how sophisticated you are with what you want to do with your business. You're getting a lot more handed to you when you've got the keys to this particular house. You're paying more for that, obviously. So it depends how much of that you want to use. And I would encourage you to understand what this offers, which is exactly what I'm going to take you through next, so that you can make that decision about saying, yeah, that's worth paying for. Like, there is a reason that that has a different price tag than building a model-driven app, and what you're getting versus, do I just want to configure some stuff myself to do something that's similar to what I might do in Excel, but with a much, much better security and scalability way of handling that. So here are some of the things that you get with Dynamics 365 Sales that are over and above what you're getting with that model-driven Power App. First of all, when you start with the model-driven Power App and you start with that foundational data model in Dataverse, accounts and contacts are standard tables. Those are already there. You don't have to build them. But there's a lot more going on in sales where there is a fully built data model for selling. You've got leads and opportunities, which we talked about before, but also a whole lot of things around products and competitors and order quotes, invoices, sales literature. It's actually quite a lot going on in there. You've also got pre-built forms and views. So there's a lot of things that come out of the box with all of those tables that are set up with nicely configured screens ready to go. You can change them, but you've bought the house, it's got everything there. You might move a piece of artwork from one place to another, but you're not coming in and choosing everything and having to design and build everything from scratch yourself. The lead to opportunity process is really high value. We are going to come back to this because it matters a lot, and misunderstanding that is one of the things we talked a little bit before about how you can't use that in a model-driven app without the license. That is a really important piece to understand. I've seen organizations break it. Don't break it. We will come back to that. There is also a quote, invoice, order process. I'm not going to cover that here. That doesn't get used as much as some of the other things. I'm going to stick to the really core things. You've got the ability to do territory management in here, so you can set up hierarchical territories and have a sales manager and people assigned to things. There's also basic case management, so this does kind of click into the other Dynamics 365 customer experience applications and service applications, customer service and field service and customer insights for marketing automation. But some of those things, then the case management part belongs to the customer service application, but they actually in the license here include a little bit of basic case management inside here. So you actually do get that sort of capability. And then if you want to expand into your CRM also covering service, you're just kind of connecting the pieces together. It's all the same pieces underneath. So it's really, really easy to extend into that. Some of the other things that are a little bit more fun, not that the rest of it's not fun, it's all fun, of course. There's an org chart, I will show you that gives you visualization, and that's something you can't, if you use a model-driven Power Up, you'd have to build that from scratch yourself. Lead routing, so there's a lot of capability in here for saying as leads come in, we want to classify them a certain way and assign them to people based on these rules. There's an engine that will do that for you. Sales sequencing allows you to set up something where you might say when a new lead comes in, then we want these things to happen in this sequence. Somebody must call them back within 3 days. Did they respond to the call, yes or no? Then this happens. So a little bit like a sequence of steps that you want followed, and you can track that. We will have a look at that. This is probably not very well known, but you can actually do one-to-one SMS from here. So sellers can be doing SMS from within the application with customers. Predictive scoring. So this is where we start to get into some of the AI-based features that are built out of the box. And this is where there's this big differentiator that we'll have a look at, because this is something you can just switch on and enable. Once you've got a bit of data in there, this will just light up with things like relationship analytics. How's the health of your relationship with the customer based on all of those interactions? What is the score? What is the likelihood that this lead or opportunity will close based on previous won or lost opportunities? How's my forecast going, including things like snapshotting forecasts? We had, $5 million in our pipeline a month ago, and now we've only got $2 million. What happened? That kind of thing, as well as the ability to use Copilot. And it's not the same as the full Copilot for Sales, although you can go there as well, but there is Copilot capability included in this license at the enterprise level, where you can actually do your CRM in Outlook. And think back to where we started here, that's honestly where people work. So a lot of these things, and this is not a comprehensive list, this is really just a sort of starting point of some of the things. All of these are things that you get with the Dynamics 365 Sales license that are pre-built and ready to go, configure and use, that you don't get with building a model-driven app from the ground up. So these are the kinds of things that you want to weigh up. If you're hearing about all of this, and as I show you all of this, this seems like really high value, it's when you want to consider buying that license. If you're really just running something that's more of a basic address book and a pipeline, and you're not taking advantage of all of those things, you might want to consider a model-driven Power App. So one of the first things is, how do we get started? And this is a question that comes up a fair bit. So I am going to switch across here. I'm not doing any editing on this video, by the way. We're just gonna chat, because I much prefer to do it that way. So let's see if I can get my screen zoomed up to a size that works here. There we go. Free trial. So if you haven't come across this before, you can get a free trial, and this is a really easy place to start. I'm going to show you how this works. Trials.dynamics.com is the website that you want to go to, and you can actually sign up for this just using your email address. Choose your trial, and here we go, Dynamics 365 Sales Try for free. Now, I'm not going to get any further than this because I've already signed up for my trial before the video, but what you do is you just put your email address in here, agree to the terms, and click Start Free Trial. And then within a very short period of time, you will get this coming up on the screen. So again, let me just zoom it up. This is a fully responsive user interface. So you can see that I can sort of zoom up on my big monitor and zoom down again to see what's going on. Now, if you come into this experience, you will possibly be confused because it actually doesn't look the same as, if you look at any of my videos here on Dynamics 365 Sales or any of the documentation, immediately it's kind of the same but not the same, so it's a little bit confusing. The reason for that, this is actually giving you an experience that's a little bit curated for a trial. There's a take a tour piece in here, you can tick through, so this is actually quite good if you're new to it, work through these things. But if you want to jump straight into the sort of real experience, this has also got a much more simplified menu. What you need to do is go up here to the top where it says Sales Trial, and this is where you can switch applications. So this is what you get. All I've done here is sign up for the trial. You can see I've got customer service applications and various other things going on. When I said before that this just clicks together with the customer service application, this is the experience. You can actually sort of switch across. It's all the same underneath, but I want to switch from the sales app to the customer service app or the field service app or whatever other things you've got. And you can also create your own customized app. So you can have different experiences for different users. I've seen places that will do a bit of a hybrid of sales and service together. I've seen places that will do a simplified version for sellers if the menu is too confusing. So you can start to do all of those kinds of configurations as well if you want. What you want to do here, we clicked on Sales Trial. Click on this one here that's called Sales Hub, and now this is the full application. So when you've signed up for the trial, it does take you into that curated trial experience. Do have a look around. You can see the difference of how much more is on the screen here and why they don't land you there when you sign up for a trial, but this is actually sort of where you will actually end up being. So I'm going to talk you through this and how it all works and what you need to know. This is starting with a thing called the Sales Accelerator. So this is the piece where what we've got down the side here is a work list of tasks that we need to work on. So I've got this view where we can say, here we go, this is a follow-up call and this is a lead. So that's in there. If I click on the next one here, this is another follow-up call, but that gives it to me in here. And as we work through the list, there's different things that are going on. And you can see this is coming up in this up next pane here. We keep going through. This one is sending out an email. So with any of these things, your administrator can just do a sort of a drag and drop configuration to set up these tasks. So this is something like every time a lead comes in, there needs to be a follow-up call made, and the person who's doing this can work through this. So here we've got Lavona, and I can click on this mark complete, and then what that will do is actually just push that down into the, there we go, there's my phone call, mark complete, and that one has dropped off the list, and then I keep working through the list. So this is something that you can trigger these automated sort of sequences of tasks for the sellers to work through. Let's sort of go back to the core concepts here. This one comes up on the screen first and is one of those high value things. But in the end, what we're working with primarily is the accounts and contacts in this notion of a pipeline here. So what we've got here, this is my list of accounts. Everything in here has the concept of my versus all. So this is where we have that ownership and security and permissions. And as an administrator, you get to choose who has access to what based on, I can read, write, edit, delete things that are mine or things in my team, and up and down the hierarchy with the permissions right down to the field level. So my active accounts, I've got these things in here. We've got a drop down list of options here where you can look at things like active accounts, all accounts. If I've got permission to view more than just my accounts, I can switch across to that view. And in this case, I've got all the accounts because I've just signed up for a trial, but you would see those things in there and you'd be able to work through them. Let me go back to the My Active Accounts, which is the default view in here. You can sort, filter, do all sorts of things with these kinds of views. And of course, because Microsoft, there's a very nice export to Excel button that just sits in there all the time. So let's take a look at one of these. If we go into Northwind Traders, what we've got is the information about the account. Everything on this screen can be configured. You can change the sections here, the headings, the order of what's on there, add new things, remove things. We'll come back to that. But everything here, we've got all of the details about the account. There's actually in here the ability to have a hierarchy. So you could have something where Northwind Traders, for instance, is part of the Adatum Corporation, and we can put that in there. We have got the timeline in the middle here. So this is this part that is really core to the experience of being able to track the activities, which is something that's hard to do if you're working on a spreadsheet. So we've got in here meetings, and this is completely integrated with Teams. If you're creating meetings in here, you can actually click on this little plus button and create a meeting, and you can see you can actually create a Teams meeting from here. and it's completely synced with Outlook. We'll also have a look at how this does sync with Outlook for emails and tasks. So this is a history of all of the things. We've got meetings, we've got tasks, we've got different things, and this is actually rolling up here. This is the this is the account. This is all of the things that we've done at the levels below, because now we're in a proper data structure where an account has related contacts. One account can have many contacts, a one-to-many relationship. One account can have many opportunities. One account could have many whatever else it is you do in your business, contracts, subscriptions, products, warranties, whatever it is that you need to track. This is the out-of-the-box demo data from Microsoft that is Contoso Coffee, so we've got some coffee pot examples in here. I am thankfully well caffeinated before I hit record, so I'm good. Otherwise, talking about coffee would just make me crave one. So the timeline here, and this is the first example of Copilot in action, is that we've actually got a nice summary of what's going on. This automatically generates a summary because even though it's useful to have all that stuff in the timeline, actually browsing through and reading all of that is generally going to be far too much. So this is giving you that information in there. This account has got contacts, so we've got people who work for the account. So we've got Heriberto and Miguel. We can pick someone to be the primary contact person, but you can also have a long list of contacts. We've got different tabs across here. So this one has got details about the company, but you could have another tab in here. You can configure this to say, actually, I want to see my list of contacts in a grid and work through all those things, plus some core information here in the header. Let's go a level down here and have a look. So you can click through. So now we've gone through from an account into a contact in here. We've got this person's job title, fictional details about the phone number and an email address in there. And then again, all of the things that's gone on in here. And if you start to have connections with other people, the demo data isn't quite rich enough here, but you've got things in here that will surface up some of those other connections. And then I can click back here to go back. All of your navigation is down the side here. So at any point you can go through and say, I want to click through and view all of my contacts or accounts, leads and opportunities in there. There's also a global search at the top here that you can use to search anything. And when you've got this configured, you can set up something so that appears as a search bar in the top window there. But I'm just going to go back. We can also have in here the list of recent records, so I can go back into that one quite easily. And if this is an organization I work with a lot, I might want to pin that because realistically, that's how people are working with this kind of thing. So let's have a look at this org chart feature, which is something that you have in here. Let's just skip over the instructions and yeah, I've got it. So what we can do here is add in. So I'm going to put, I think we've got Heriberto is the most, I gotta love it. I'm not going to edit this out. We're just going to kind of bring this person in. Can I drag them onto there? There we go. All right. You used to have to search for it. Gotta love it when they change the, the features. You do have to do a save first to bring that person in. You got to love it when Microsoft always asks for your feedback when I'm doing a live demo. We're just leaving this in today. So there we've got that in there. There's your primary contact. And now we can start to drag and drop other people in here. So we click on Edit Chart and I can bring the purchasing manager reports into this person. You can have within here, this person is the primary contact, but we've also got these tags as people as decision maker, influencer, blocker, and those things can be configured to be whatever it is that you need to do in there as well. Now, obviously, if you've got more people in there, you can start to do this. I've got a whole video on the org chart here if you want to see more, but you can also do in here, if you've got LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I haven't got that set up with my trial system here, but if you've got LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you will actually get little flags in here if people update their jobs and change jobs, which is a really useful way of keeping track of things, but that's a demo for another time. Let's go back into Northwind Traders here. So the other piece here is around the pipeline, which is honestly what most organizations are getting a CRM to handle. So we start with leads and work through to opportunities. Now, actually, I should say before we go on to that, that we've got with accounts and contacts, I'm showing you that structure there of an account has many contacts. That's a B2B scenario. But if you work in a B2C scenario, you don't have to use accounts. You can actually just have people in here with no accounts and no account relationships, so it can handle individuals. If you're coming from the Salesforce world, it's quite different from how that works. It's a different kind of data structure that I won't get into here, but you absolutely can use the contacts as a standalone thing here and just remove accounts from the menu and do a B2C scenario. So let's close this. So what we've got here is our list of leads, and this is showing us again, this is this sort of focused view of having a list of leads down the side. This is similar to what we saw at the start with the sales accelerator, but it's not necessarily tasks. It's actually just all of the list of leads that I'm working through. You can click on this read only grid. Let me just show you this is something that goes on in the interface now. If I click on read only grid, this is more like people expect to see the grid, but this focused view is giving you this side by side. I've got my list of leads and I can see them in the screen. I'm going to stick with this one for a while now. You can do this with any of the tables in the system depending on how you want to work. So what happens is a lead comes into the system. Now, again, like I was saying before, that you don't have to use accounts all the time. You also don't have to use leads. So when I've been working with this one with different customers, some customers use leads and some don't. The nature of your business is very different. The concept of a lead in Dynamics 365 Sales is that it's like a baby opportunity. You can use it as a place for new contacts coming in as well if you want to do that. So if you go to a trade show, you collect a bunch of business cards or whatever you do, where you've got a bunch of people who are not qualified, or organizations that are not qualified, but you can also use it for that starting point of an opportunity. So anything you're doing that is unqualified that you want to put in this separate bucket, you can have here. But if the nature of your business, and especially in some B2B environments, is that you just don't do that kind of thing, you are in a high relationship sales environment and things are just opportunities from the first point of contact, you can just not use this and again remove it from the menu. So even though we've got this good process here, you're not forced to use it. So let's take a look at this. The idea here is that the lead comes in from somewhere. It could be that someone's entered it in the system. It could come from your website, could be integrated from some other platform, can handle that as well. And so we've got this business process flow across the top, similar to what I showed you earlier on the screen in the model-driven app. But this one, what I showed there was I basically just created a business process flow with the same stages, very basic. This has actually got a lot of smarts going on underneath it. So we've got a qualify stage here, and you'll see that this is locked. You can't kind of just move it across. If I try to move it across to the next stage, it just won't kind of let me do it, because there's a connection here as we qualify it that it's going to turn it into an opportunity. So we've got the details here of all of the things that are going on with Alex. You can actually work out if this is something from an existing contact or an existing account in the system. So this is a new contact. We don't have Alex in the system, but actually this is coming from Trade Research, which is an organization that we're already working with. So it's an existing organization, a new person who's coming through, and we've got their details here. This is the cafeteria manager, different department in the same organization, for instance, and you can link that up in there. So that's the Trade Research one. And then we've got a bunch of stuff in here that we're collecting about the phone number and the email and all of the details. This section in the middle here is very similar to, it's actually the same thing that we saw at the start, this idea of the sales sequencing. So it's telling you what's up next. This is coming from a sequence called new lead nurturing, which an administrator has set up to say step 1, and that's due within 3 days of the lead being created or 7 days of the lead being created, whatever that needs to be for you. Dear, thank you for your interest. So this is actually an email that needs to go out, and you can use email templates here. So the idea is that the seller is going through and doing this. They can actually come in here and make some changes to the email as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, this isn't the same as a fully automated email going out. This is something where we've got this in here. Now this is actually going with Dear last name, which is weird. So fix up that email template. But you could kind of say, nice talking to you, or put in some kind of personal thing in here and then send that out. I won't do it because it's not a real email address. Send that out and then mark it complete, and that gets tracked in the timeline. And then wait for 5 days. There's a reminder email, wait for 5 days, call the customer. So you can see how we're sequencing out what needs to happen in there. What we're going to do here is qualify this lead, and I'm just going to put a note in here. Oh, we've actually got the email, so I don't need to put, we've got the email in there, and I'm just going to put a note in here saying very interested, and I cannot type and talk well at the same time. Alex is likely to buy more than this, or something like that. We'll just put that in there so you get an idea, because what I want to show you is that this all comes across into the opportunity. We've also flagged a competitor here, so you can start to track where you're winning and losing deals to competitors. So what I'm going to do, and I always do this, as I click qualify, can I explain it to you in the time it takes for it to do the process? Let's see. At the moment, usually not. Qualify. Sometimes when I run my recording software, it slows it down. So what this does is actually checks first, does this contact already exist, and does this account already exist? So yes, we've already got a matched account, and in fact, Alex is already in the system. So what we want to do here is choose it and choose it to say, yes, those two things already exist in the system. Please don't create them again. So if they weren't in the system, it would create Alex, it would create Tray Research, it would associate Alex with Tray Research, turn this into an opportunity. See, I can't talk it through faster than it can do it now. Turn this into an opportunity that is linked to both of those things. But because it's picked up that those were already in the system, that saved me now from doing an accidental duplication of that contact record. So now what it's done is found Tray Research and Alex Baker. It's put them together and created this opportunity and brought across everything that was there. So there you go. There's my very sophisticated note here. Very interested. He's likely to buy, or she is likely to buy more than this. There is the email that we had earlier. And now we are past the qualify stage and into the develop stage, and we can work through the different stages. Again, you can configure this pipeline to be whatever it is you want for your organization, and we kind of move all the way through the different steps and stages until we finish, and hopefully then close as lost or close as won. Let's put a happy path on this one and say that it was closed as won. I've got no revenue in there because I haven't done that, so let's pretend I was actually a little bit more sophisticated than that. So we're closing it here, and the estimated revenue is budget amount was $40,000. So let's say we ended up getting $50,000 out of this one. And we will close as one. That actually does some things here in the background. So again, this is this sophisticated kind of process that you're paying for. We won this against this competitor. So that's starting to track that in the background as well. And now this opportunity score here, I'll show you an opportunity that's already in the system. That's starting to contribute to that scoring model that helps you understand what's going on. It is also starting to help you build out your reporting. So I've got here my open opportunities. Let's just take a look at one that has been in here a little bit longer. I've actually got one that's opened here for Northwind Traders. So we've got all of this information in here, a nice timeline. So I've got a lot more notes in this one. And this opportunity score is happening because, once you've created the opportunity, it needs to calculate that in the background. But this is actually giving you, this is a grade A and improving. This one's doing really well because based on what's happened in the past, the purchase time frame is this quarter, the purchase process is individual, the decision maker is not identified. That's bringing the score down a little bit. And you always get transparency on how this is being calculated. And if it's changed over time, you'll see what's going on. This works on leads as well. So this is something that this is just kind of toggle it on and you're good to go AI that you're getting with this license that is actually helping you determine, as a seller, I look at this is worth, $30,000 in my business. Perhaps that's a good deal. And this is likely to close. This helps me focus that this is something that I should be spending my time on, whereas something else that might be worth a lot of money but isn't looking good, I might want to put my attention elsewhere, or I might need to take some action to make things work work a little bit harder on it. The other thing you've got going on here is this relationship analytics. So this is now taking all of that interaction data that you had, all of the pieces that you had in your timeline, your phone calls, emails, appointments, and giving you an analysis of how the relationship is going. So again, everything's happy here. This is a good relationship and it's improving. I haven't scheduled my next interaction. I should probably get onto that. There's my last interaction, which was not very long ago. These are the contacts we've got, and this is the total number of emails, phone calls, appointments with each of those contacts. And I can also see that my colleague Jeremy is working on this account. So that helps if you're working in an environment where multiple people are working with your accounts. We've also got here the customer interactions. Is the love all going one way? Are you, working with people, if you're doing a lot of outbound stuff and getting nothing back, or there's a lot of inbound and not much outbound? That's useful insights. How do the hours spent compared? And a bunch of other things in here, including the activities of, kind of what's gone on. There was a bit of a gap in proceedings there and what's happened there. This is demo data, so it is a little bit extreme that we're making phone calls and emails every day, but maybe that's what it takes to sell coffee machines. I don't know. Similar one deals. This can also help you with where we've done similar things in the past. What did it take? Now, again, demo data, 277 activities for everything is not likely, but go with me here. So these are the ones that are similar, and that also might help me to go in and see what else we did there, how long was spent. So do you start to see the difference here in how rich this is compared to something that you might just build as a basic sort of accounts and contacts and opportunities for yourself? There's a lot of insight going on here by using Dataverse and using those Microsoft 365 tools and bringing everything into that one place. So that's leads, opportunities, accounts and contacts. Let's take a look at this reality of salespeople working in Outlook, because we know that's what actually happens. And this is where things start to change a bit. You need all of this stuff underlying in the system, but actually what happens is that people are working with Outlook a lot of the time. Let's zoom this one up a bit. So I've got two examples in here. The first one here is an email from a person who is new. So this is someone where we've got, she's recently joined Northwind Traders and they're expanding into a new office. And so this is a person who's new in the system. We've got the Copilot for Sales on the side here, and you can see that this is identifying straight away that this person isn't in Dynamics. So watch what happens if I click Add to Dynamics. It's going to pick this detail out of the signature here. So we've got all of this stuff: first name, last name, job title. We'll come to company name in a second, and these phone numbers. So if I come in here, you can actually put in the company name, and this is a lookup. So if we say start typing Northwind Traders, there it is there. And now what I can do is click save on that, and that will actually create that person, let's do that, into my Dynamics database against that account. And as soon as I do that, you'll see what happens here is that now I can see information about the opportunities related to that account. I can actually go in and see more information about the account, and the administrator can choose which fields show up here and can choose whether or not you can edit those things inside Outlook. So you can do a lot of your CRM in Outlook with this piece now, which really does substantially change things. Let's have a look at another example here, which is existing. So in this case, we've got a bit of back and forth here between me and this Miguel around what's going on with the coffee machine warranties. So we've got all of these things in here. We have got the, thank you for this. So what happens, and you've got like an email thread that's gone back and forth here, is that now we've got the key email info. So we've actually got details about what's happening, summary of this. This is really, really practically useful if you've got a lot of back and forth and you just need to get across it. You've been out at a training session all day or something and you come back and there's all these emails. I actually find this incredibly useful in real life with more with more information in it than this. You've actually also got citations here. So Copilot will always give you these citations so that you can see where it actually got that from and validate whether it's actually giving you something useful. You can choose to save the email to Dynamics. So this is a typical thing we've always done, is this idea of tracking emails in the timeline. So you can do that and it will track it in there. But I'm actually finding it's more useful here to say, let's copy the summary and save the summary into Dynamics 365, because that's something that is actually possibly more useful than just saving every single email. We saw what happened in the timeline before. If you've got compliance or other good reasons to save all of those emails in the timeline, then great. But this idea of being able to go in and say, let's have something where it's just saving that summary, can actually be a really useful way to get the AI to help you. You'll see here you can choose where you want to save it. So you don't have to save it just against the person. It's often more useful to save it against the particular type of record you're working on, in this case, the opportunity. So I've got all of the opportunities here that are related to Northwind Traders. It's actually this one here, the Airpot coffee makers. So we're going to choose that and click save, and then that's going to put that information in there. Again, I've got all of this information here around the person. So if I'm working with Miguel here and I want to understand what we've done before, I can put private notes in here that are just sort of my note to myself. I've got all of the details in here, and I can go in here and edit this. Let's say there was something in the signature where the phone number had been updated. You can actually make that edit in there and that will update in real time. All of the opportunities that we're working on, all of the information. Here's another related email. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. We can do all of that stuff inside Outlook and not have to switch back and forth between here and your CRM, which makes a huge difference. Let's go back and have a look at that inside Dynamics 365 now. So we go into this Airpot coffee makers, and now we have got this AI generated. So it actually flags, because I did that copy and paste of the summary in there, that's sitting in the timeline of that opportunity. The other thing that we need to do is collaborate with colleagues in Teams. We've got this little Teams chat here. Now, this is my real Teams chat, so we've got other chats. I'm not going to expand that because I don't want to share all of my Teams chats with everyone in the world watching this video. If I expand that, though, that is actually showing me my Teams chats. So you've got this live, like this real experience between the two things going on here, where you can work in your Teams chats in Dynamics. If the other person is working in Teams, they will get this. So I can set up a new connected chat here. So I can just start typing in the participant. This is actually a demo environment where I don't have other people in it. So I'm just going to chat with myself, which is a bit weird. So we can come in here and say, here are, here's who I want it to be. If it's a different owner, like if I'm me as the user and let's say it's Fred or someone as the owner, it will actually automatically suggest who that is. And you'll see it automatically brings in, here's the topic, the customer, the revenue, and the close date. And you could put something in here that says, hey, can you help with this, or something like that. And then start the chat, and that pops up in a window here. So for the time that I'm working in Dynamics, I can go ahead and do this. And the other person in Teams doesn't even have to be in Dynamics. They're just getting that in the context of where they're working. So you've got that collaboration built right in. You can do all of the usual things that you can do here, including adding GIFs, yes, GIF, emoji, attach files, mark it as important, all of your editing. So you've got that fully featured Teams chat in there. The other thing we've got in here is Copilot inside the application. So this can help you with information about, show me my pipeline, and here's a whole lot of things, and let's summarize what's going on with that. We've also got a full screen experience, which I'll show you in a moment. So this can help you with summarizing what's going on with opportunities, can help you prepare for meetings. You can get information about your accounts. This one is a little bit wordy out of the box. There are settings that the administrator can go in and toggle things on and off to say which bits of information you want to feed into the summary, which can make it a little less wordy, but that's still giving you a fairly good description in there. You've also got this little kind of star thing, gives you sort of ideas of other things that you can prompt with. as you start to work through this more, you've got information in here about summarizing things, also asking questions of the data, which is my biggest account, what's going on. And there's some other cool little things coming through in there that can help you with, show me my unanswered emails and various other bits like that. My demo data is not quite good enough for that though. So the other question that comes up a lot here is around licensing and what happens with the licensing. Just to sort of run you through all of this, everything I'm showing you in this video is in that enterprise or premium license. Just don't buy Sales Professional. Like honestly, you're missing out on so much in terms of the value of what you can do. You can see the numbers drop off, but everything I've shown you here is available in that enterprise license. The biggest difference between those two is the capacity for things like the sequencing and the predictive scoring and those kinds of things. So if you're doing that at high volume, you might like to look at premium. If you are looking at the Copilot for Microsoft 365, you might also want to look at premium. This is taken from the Microsoft website. The prices here are current as at July, but everything can change in future. So essentially what we've got here is a situation where you can have Dynamics 365. And I would encourage you to start with Sales Enterprise as a minimum if you want the value of the stuff that I'm showing you here. And everything I've shown you here you can do with that license. But then if you start to upgrade into the other areas, there is a blending here of the Copilot with the Copilot for Microsoft 365 that gives you even more capabilities to do things like going into Word and creating documents based on your CRM. Let's take a look at that because this takes us very nicely here into this current future state of CRM and why I'm talking about rethinking it. So this one first is this idea of a Copilot that is embedded at the home screen. So this is something that's starting to be rolled out. Depending on when you're watching this, you might have this rather than just down the sidecar experience, that this is replacing a dashboard. Instead of starting with a dashboard at the start of your day, you actually start with Copilot and you chat with your CRM in natural language. Show me my pipeline, what's newly assigned to me, help me prepare for my appointments. Using Copilot Studio, that's another whole thing, but the platform has a lot of pieces that you can use to extend things here. Using Copilot Studio, you can actually then connect this to other data sources. So this is an example of connecting it up to the Microsoft website where we've got information about different Surface laptops. I'm pretending here I'm a Microsoft seller. And so now not only can I ask information about what's in my CRM, but what's the length of the Surface Pro 9, and it's actually getting that information from the Microsoft website. So that's Copilot Studio. I've got plenty of tutorials on that if you're interested in that as well. But the pieces start to come together here in that we're extending all of these things out. And so this is very exciting here around something that you can do with Word and CRM together. So this requires that Copilot for Microsoft 365 license as well. Help me prepare for this meeting, and it knows that that meeting is associated with this particular account, and it can bring all of this information back in here for you. So it's going to say, here is the account details, the opportunity details, when is the meeting, here's some information, here's a summary of the opportunity, the last activity, and so on. So there's a lot that goes on in there, hoping we're going to see a lot more. Now, how can you configure this? There's plenty that you can do to configure all of this. You can actually do all sorts of things, and it's the same skill set as configuring model-driven apps because it's the same piece underneath. So you can go in and create new tables and relationships. So if you've got things that you want to do for your business that aren't those standard things, you've got warranties, subscriptions, contracts, whatever it is, you can configure those tables and put them in. You can modify all of those things on the screen. You can add your own additional bits of information. We rank accounts according to this kind of thing and have all of those types of things, change the layout and the views, business process flows. You can edit, change, add new ones, and you can automate your business process here as well. I've got an entire video taking you step by step through all of that. I'll see you over there.